What's up, YouTube? So I gotta ask George Duke's peak and prime. If you were into jazz, funk, R&B, pop, the whole nine, gospel, whatever you want to put in the gumbo, rock, pop too. Because if you know about George Duke, you know about him and Frank Zappa's band. Well, late 70s is when he hit his peak and his prime as far as the Reach For It and Dookie Stick and Brazilian Love Affair and all that. He hit big. And then, of course, early 80s producing albums for Jeffrey Osborne, Taste of Honey, Denise Williams. He had his fingers in a lot of pies, and of course his collaborations with Stanley Clarke, which he became a crooner. So he had yacht rock add to the list. It was a credible, versatile talent, tons of session work with a who's who, played keyboards on Don't Stop to Get Enough for Michael Jackson, work with Miles Davis, was involved with a lot of stuff. Credits galore. But if I'm asked about his peak prime, I gotta say probably about want to say about 77 to probably about, I want to say to about 84, 85, about 84. Because he did produce Let's Hear It for the Boy. And he did a lot of different things that you would not associate because he had a distinctive sound and he had a musical vocabulary that allowed him to literally reach for it. So looking back at his work as a producer, as a writer, as a arranger, there's a lot of totality there that just showcases a man that had no limits, and he really put so many things into perspective. It's amazing, when I think about it. And he was a late bloomer a late comer to the funk and to the crossover because he didn't really. When you listen to the stuff he played with Frank Zappa, it doesn't sound anything like what he ended up doing years later when he worked with Jeffrey Osborne. I don't really need a light to see his stylings, his vibe had changed. It was like a 360-degree flip. That's what artists used to be able to do back in the day. Before everything got, you know, hood lies where you got stuck and you were put in and it was bags back then, don't get it twisted. But if you could play and you could sustain, your stuff went all over and you could, so he understood that as a musician. He didn't have no limits as far as that's concerned. Um, he did different projects, I've listened. Matter of fact, I'll give you an example. I was watching this movie called The Heavenly Kid. It was a corny movie. It was somewhere between uh Back to the Future and Grease and also one of them James Dean movies. And the cat was like a triple junior whopper, broke John Travolta with a Fonzie jacket on, but